Hello, hi, hey, welcome to my unfiltered channel where you are encouraged to be the unfiltered version of yourself. Please like, comment, and subscribe below so we can be free and unleashed together. So I am here to do this video a little bit different than what I've normally done. This is raw, uncut, and I'm just going to try to start getting out more content by doing it this way. So after watching Love and Marriage Huntsville, you know, they came back on this season with some additional episodes because there's been a lot of drama this season. If you haven't caught it, you can catch it probably on YouTube, but I had to go ahead and subscribe to subscription. So what I have is I actually have Hulu, which I know it costs a shiny penny, about $80 or so, but I was kind of getting tired of watching the seasons on and trying to catch the episodes. I was doing pretty good so far all these past few seasons with trying to catch it on YouTube, but I just said let me go ahead and get the real thing because you have some shows that show up on Peacock, some shows that show up on different platforms, and I'm not finna buy all those subscriptions, so I just settled for one that I felt like I'll be able to get majority of them from, and that was Hulu. But anyway, so the episode 16 actually aired today on OWN. For those who may not be following, Love and Marriage Huntsville is the first show from the Love and Marriage franchise. Now I think they had DC and then they have Detroit, but this one is the one that's well known, popular. You have those cast members. Now we have Melody, Cherie, Martell Holt, we have Kimmy and Maurice Scott, and then we have Tisha and Marceau Scott, and they're actually the original three couples. And then in the later seasons they added on some additional couples. They added on Tiffany Whitlow and Louie, I think that's his name, Lou. And then we have Stormy and Courtney, and we used to have Destiny and supposedly the Barrett, but that was short-lived. And we also have Kiki, who is Tisha's cousin, which she's becoming more a part of the cast now in this later part of season 6. Well, if you haven't seen this episode, I advise you to go and watch it. I love watching shows like this because it gives you a good perspective. I watch it the way I watch it. It gives me good perspective of marriage, relationships, things that can go awry, friendships. You know, kind of understand the people's mentality and how they maneuver, because just like those people on the screen are maneuvering certain ways in certain situations, we have some similar people that we might know that we probably relate to them. So we can kind of learn from seeing them on screen and hopefully do a better job than they did with whatever situations they're faced with. You know, being able to try to say, hey, I remember that seems similar to what Melody was going through, so I'm gonna know not to do that, or I'm gonna know the signs, you know. So the drama picks up. You know, they try to segue between the last episode, which was aired on when was that last episode aired? It was like the end of July, somewhere in July, before July. It wasn't even the end, probably like midways. That's when episode 15, so they had to go back into the works because it was just too much juice to end the season there. So I'm sure they decided, hey, there's too much going on. We got to keep these cameras rolling so we can capture it all. So it ends episode 15. I think I actually did a review over that, so that pretty much goes over that whole ordeal up until that point. So the Black Expo happened, and that was something that Tisha and Marcel came up, even though it was a comeback initiative, as Kimmy says. It was something that was initially the whole mission for the comeback group. Well, so let me go down to episode 16. We see a lot. They really want to draw us in for the remaining part of this season because we have Tisha and Marcel have moved out of their house. Now you can see her in their new apartment. We have a lot of speculations on that. From what they say, they moved from their house that they had to an apartment, to a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, which she says in the episode that it's the same amount of rooms and bathrooms that their house had because she kind of alluded to that when Kimmy came over and visited her to talk about the meetup that they had at the end of episode 15, which was tying into that whole ordeal between Marcel and Stormy. Marcel actually coming up to Stormy, which he actually told Tisha that he was going to do that, and she told him, you go ahead and do it, because he was trying to get Tisha to go up to her, but Tisha was like, I'm not finna do that. And so she told him to do it, but not really wanting him to go up to Stormy and ask her for $100 at the expo event on the day of. And that caused a whole rift because of the way that he came across, and then the whole unprofessionalism of it all, you know, asking her on the day of when she was not even aware. They didn't even mention it the time that they had to pull her into that. So all of that drama from that Black Expo spilled over into this episode. And so it picks up there because at the end, Stormy was sharing, she had pillow talk with her husband Courtney, which, by the way, I'm starting to love Stormy and Courtney a whole lot more. Like, if they just keep giving this energy and vibe, you know, and like, I like this a whole lot more for them. I think it's going to be great if they just keep on that path, because it seems like they're going somewhere with their story. I think I even mentioned that in my last video of how I really commended her for really showing her authentic self, and she's not backing down. I love Mel, you know, the different things that she kind of showed and different things that she's went through and how she maneuvered it. But I can agree with Stormy, you know, sometimes you just gotta let people be their authentic self. And when they had that tea party and they was trying to, you know, sometimes you be trying to act too prissy, you be suppressing your real feelings, and really, what is that doing? Is that really helping you when you suppress your true feelings? Or do you need to find a way to express it? Because suppressing your feelings sometimes is not actually the best way of doing things. And I think the tea party was probably trying to get them to be able to talk it out appropriately. But at the same time, some people might feel like, well, it's just trying to get me to suppress my true feelings, because this is how I really feel and this is what I really want to say, so I can get what Stormy was saying. So that's a whole nother thing. You can go back to those episodes and watch that and see how that pans out. But I'm starting to like Stormy a whole lot more, especially Courtney, because right now they're really the highlight couple on the show, because their relationship seemed to be very solid. You know, I know they had some disagreements about him being hesitant of having another baby, but it seems like they're gonna figure out a resolve to that, and that'll be something interesting to see. And I'm hoping they'll show some of that along with more of their business. Seems like they got their business back on track. She says that the shipping is now shipping out in 3 to 5 days. She's trying to make a goal for it to be 1 to 3, and then hopefully moving on to same day delivery. So it's a great growth. I know a lot of people really want the business to go down. I don't know why we so quick to put people down when their business is struggling. It's a hard job, especially, you know, she's accomplished a lot, a multi-million-dollar business. A lot of us who are sitting back talking, we probably couldn't be able to do that, and it takes a lot of work, and you're going to have some ups and downs. So people were trying to write them off from the jump. That's not right. You know, I can understand, you know, we give our commentary on these things. Sometimes we try to pick something that draws in the interest of the audience, but I always try to do it respectfully. I would hope that every video that I've done has been in a respectful taste, because we can say our opinion but be respectful at the same time. So, but yeah, I love them on the show. So Courtney, and I was saying all of that because this is an example of why I'm loving them on the show. I love how she was able to come to her husband, tell him her woes, and he just like right then jumping for her, like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna talk to him. And then I respected the way that Courtney sat down with Marcel. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm sure everybody can pick this up. The way Marcel was looking, you can tell it's like in him. Both him and his brother, they just love it when somebody is confrontational with them. It's like he was actually almost getting excited, because I can just see his wheels turning in his head. Marcel, when Courtney's talking to him, I can already see in his head, he's like thinking, oh, he think he's gonna come here and check me? Oh, I'm gonna show him. All I gotta do is just finagle my way with my words to really get him and show him with my words. So he really thought he probably won that talk, you know, whatever argument that he was trying to make it into. But really, to be honest, it just showed what type of man he is, and all he had to do was say sorry, but then he's talking about there's only going to be one apology from one way. Those Scott brothers, I'm telling you, they are something else. I mean, they mistreat their wives, and then they want to go around and mistreat other people, and then they want people to just stand by and let them do it. And then if you come up to them, they're going to try to they're going to try to pretty much punk you. So he was trying to punk Courtney. And then also when I was watching that, I was thinking of how Lou was supposed to do that for Tiffany. And probably like episode 14, 13, whichever one, they had the baby shower when Marceau actually did that same thing to Tiffany, jumping into the situation between what Tiffany said to Sheree, which Martell was supposed to be the one speaking up on. They both came at her, especially Marceau, more so Marceau coming at her. And then she went back to her husband, Lou, to get him to, confront his friends about how they came at her as a female. And then she was pregnant at the time too. And so the way Courtney did it is the way Tiffany wished Lou would have done it. I think Lou might have kind of skated around it, but he didn't do it like Courtney did it. Courtney sat there chill. He didn't have to, raise nothing, but I think he did a phenomenal job. And that is a stand-up guy who bat for his woman, and stand up to a guy and let him know what it is. Like, you're not gonna bully. Marceau is like trying to be a bully. He's trying to bully everybody, seems like, with the way that he's behaving. And then anybody that confronts him about it, he gonna try his best not to let them get one up on him. So that's how I see Marceau. They really get a rise from all of that confrontational because it gives them the floor to just be their true what. So that happened. So Courtney, I think go back and watch it, guys. He did a phenomenal job. I would be like, that's what I would want, because I've dealt with the situation even today, and I was like, man, I would need a guy that would go to bat for me. Like when somebody mistreats your woman and your woman come back to you, you're gonna be up there to check them the next day, if not the same day. That's a true man, and there's big respects for him. And so that happens. Then we go to Kimmy. Oh my goodness, I just feel so, I don't know which side Kimmy is on. Kimmy, she kind of in a way somewhat remind me of myself, but not really, because there are certain things I'm like, oh no. She's very optimistic, so that's the way that she reminds me of myself. Kimmy just seems like she just go free lucky, everything's fine. She's just like up in the clouds a little bit. Not up in the clouds as in dumb, because Kimmy is very smart, and she does put her husband Maurice in check, but really not in check, because he just still go on the way he want to go on. But the way that her dialogue, the way that she does a great job communicating with him. If only he was willing to listen to her and actually consider what she's saying and be understanding. Kimmy does a phenomenal job. I don't know if anybody else have noticed that, but she does a phenomenal job articulating what she really means and articulating their communication. But Maurice, he just gonna just make it into mush. I think he kind of feel, I know he know that Kimmy does a great job communicating, so he can't ever say that it's a lack of communication. And he just turns her great communication into mush every time he opens his mouth, because he just still go on a rampant. He just not gonna let her have a good communication moment. And he gonna just make it into, like, it's just so inconsiderate. And I'm thinking they probably filmed this after. I'm thinking they filmed this after all that ordeal about him going on Carlos' show and doing that interview and saying those things. I think I also have a video about that, so you can check that video, or you can go to Carlos King Network and watch it from there. Just to kind of see how that went out, about him saying things about her sex drive and not really being understanding as a husband that he is, to how, having cancer and being on chemo and, really not feeling your normal self could affect your sex drive. And he keep telling her that it's a mind thing. And I loved how she was saying, like, you know that's not helping, right? You know how you're saying that. And that's so true. Guys, it does not help, because then now you get a female in their mind when you start saying things like that. You are actually, and how what he was saying is not helping the situation. I like, she said it several times, but he just let it go. He hear her and he knows exactly what she's saying, but he just wants to do it the way he wants to do it, or say it the way he wants to say it, so he just lets it go over his head. And that is just so sad. And then it's just being complete, it's just not even being considerate of what your wife has just gone through and what she's still going through. And you're just minimizing it to like it's something that she's doing. Like, you're pretty much blaming her for how she feels and not really being considerate. Let him go and get sick, and then he'll really know how it feels. Then that'll be the only way, it seems like, and I'm not wishing that on him, but I'm just like, maybe that'll be the only way that he'll really get what she's saying. Let him go get sick and can't perform in the bed for whatever reason, and then she start asking him questions like that. Then then what? The tables can always be turned. So I just feel for her to have to go through that and hear that, and then he's continuing to perpetuate that. I think I was saying before, I had to pause for a moment because I thought it wasn't gonna save the video, is that I think this filming happened after his interview. So if this filming happened after his interview and he still continues to come on this show and perpetuate that storyline, it's sad. And I know probably producers want them to probably show it on camera, because I don't think they really showed that part of it on camera. They probably want them to show more of that on camera. And they actually also, I don't know if anybody saw, but they actually have a commercial out, both him and Kimmy. It's like a mattress commercial where they're like, ironically saying, oh, we need to fix our sleeping problems or our sleeping issue. And it's kind of alluding to what their real issue is, but really they're talking about, they're selling mattresses. So I don't know if anybody caught that. But yeah, I am not looking forward to any of Maurice or Marceau's shenanigans. Oh man, it's just bad. It's just horrible. And I just feel for both Kimmy and Tisha. So let's see. Okay, so now we shift to Kiki. Oh man, this episode is just full of what's to come, and that just lets you know that it just keeps on giving. You never know. They might start airing this the whole year long. It might be the first show ever to just continue airing all year long, and probably get some breaks here and there, because they just continue. Like, once the show stopped, this is probably one of the first shows, I believe, that I have experienced where most of the stuff have been so interesting online. Like, when the show stopped, there's still a lot of stuff going on because social media is popping. So they might want to just figure out a way to have this show to just continue to air throughout the whole year, because I know they're going to fear to stop and then something big happen and they don't catch it on camera, because they love those things on the reality show. It kind of gives that rating, that interesting, that storyline to keep talking about. So now we have Kiki's situation. Ooh boy, she's caught on the news. And Tiffany, when Tiffany had that talk, so Tiffany has a talk with Mel about, the concern of her brand, but Tiffany, I feel you're wrong, because she was like giggling a little bit, like she was about to, if Melody didn't have a serious face and if Melody probably matched her energy and laughed with her, I guarantee you she would have laughed and joked. But I think with her seeing Melody's straight face about what she was saying, it made her kind of straighten up a little bit. But it almost seemed like she was trying to kick Kiki while she was down a little bit, and that's wrong. I like Stormy's approach, even though Courtney did chuckle, but I think sometimes people chuckle, in disbelief. I do that sometimes, like I smile, or, it might not match my emotion on the inside. That's just the way that I kind of, so I can understand people, they might laugh in a reaction, but it was just something different about Tiffany. She was kind of borderline, like somewhat enjoying it. And to be honest, people understand, like, there are a lot of people that root for Kiki, so I don't think she'll hurt your brand. If anything, she might help your brand. You know, if you dish her to the side, then, you know, people are not going to like you, especially if they get an inkling that you're really, like, trying to kick her while she's down. That would actually hurt your brand more so than Kiki would. I think people misjudge the audience. Like, I feel like online fans and followers and social media and bloggers are really, you know, as a consensus or on average, are done a great job with helping support the people who are wrong. They're not going to just let somebody do somebody wrong and then get away with it. You can see Martell's situation. You can see the situation in so many cases where they have stood up and said, hey, you need to, like, they're actually rooting for the underdog. People love to root for the underdog. So how could Kiki's situation affect you? You're just trying to make it about you, and that's just not right. You don't kick somebody when they're down. If anything, it would help your brand, for your brand to see that you're willing to help somebody, like genuinely help her, and not just be nosy and just wanting to know, is it real? And, you know, so you can laugh about it later, like, oh wow, she did that, especially with all the issues they were having between each other. It's just wrong. And so I really respect Mel for standing up and being serious in that moment, because if she wanted to cackle with her, it would have been a whole different energy there. But Mel having that straight face kind of cut Tiffany short with the little jabs that she was wanting to make. Then you have Tisha also mention it too. And then you have the episode ending with Melody sitting down with, I'm skipping a part. I'm skipping Martell. Ooh boy, let me press pause on Kiki's situation. Let's go back to Martell. So Martell, bless his heart, he has to move out of that house. He's using, just like Chris Fletcher and them, they getting tired of him. They about to tell him the real deal this season, or this part of the season, or this part of whatever. This episode is starting to let you know that they're just like, they do not like what he did, and they can see that he's trying to use them as a friend. Like, is it there? Like, you're an adult, Martell. You're responsible of finding your own place. You can go out here and find your own place without a realtor. A lot of people have done it, especially if he doesn't have anything. You can't hold him as if he's responsible for you, and then if he don't find your place, then what? How can you tell somebody that? Like, if I were to walk into a realtor's office today and say, I need you to find me a house, and then for some reason I'm gonna get mad, even if that person was my friend, you can't get mad at them for not being able to find your. That's your responsibility as an adult to get your own house and stuff and situate like that. So it's something else, and he's trying to stay when those people telling him that he need to move out, and he's still trying to stay because he's thinking, and I think he's just trying to stay as long as he can. He's thinking the people don't need to sell it, so maybe he can get them somehow to not want to sell it, so he can just continue to stay there at the house. I don't know. It's a mess. And then gonna try to play the pity game to make it seem like, oh well, you want me. No, it's not what he wants. You're the adult. You're supposed to be able to provide a household for your family. Not him. It's not on him. You got to go and start searching for places. Go find an apartment where Tisha and Marcel know them at. Maybe they have an opening space there. I'm sure it's going to be cheaper, because I'm sure that's the main reason why they moved there. That it's cheaper. It's going to save them some money. But yeah, he should be talking to them and seeing how they were able to get the apartment, and maybe be their next door neighbor at their apartment complex. So now going back to, after speaking about him, going back to Kiki. So the episode ends off with Melody talking to Kiki. It was just like a genuine friendly conversation, even though she did make that statement about Kiki's shirt saying hot mess but bless, or something like that, or doing my best. Hot mess but doing my best. And then she actually gifted her a shirt that says push it through because God said so, or something like that on the back. So yeah, that was so ironic that her shirt actually said that, hot mess but doing my best, and then on top of that, Melody actually gives her a new shirt to wear, which is actually a better positive shirt. So I think there's some symbolism there if people pay attention. I'm not sure if they planned that out, but that is very symbolic, because now that's a friend that can give you a word better than a word that you're wearing on your chest. She gave her a new word to wear on her chest, like, let's not wear this hot mess, but doing my best. Yes, we know, but don't claim that hot mess. Push through because God says so. That's a better message. So that is just like a symbolism of hopefully what's to come for Kiki. She has to shift her whatever. There's something that needs to be shifted. To me, that's the symbolic meaning there. But so it ends off with that. So then we can kind of get the real scoop. So they kind of give us a hanging moment where we gotta wait until the next episode to drop next week. I'm hoping they're gonna be consistent about dropping those episodes, because I don't know if anybody else have Hulu, but some of those episodes from the different shows that I watched have been kind of lately lagging. Like, it's not really showing up when it normally would, or if I don't catch it live, or if I don't record it, it won't even show up until like it'll say 4 a.m. the next morning. But whatever's going on with that, yeah. But either way, we have to wait till next week or whenever they air the next episode to see from Kiki, her own mouth, what's really going on with that whole news Crime Stopper thing. So until then, tune in and watch the show if you can. If you can't, hopefully you can catch it on YouTube. Someone will post it later on, or maybe I'm sure they're probably going to post it because they want people to tune back in for this other part. So sometimes they post free episodes, so you might can catch it on YouTube. But yeah, just support them. And comment below what you think of my review. Comment below of anything that you would like to say in regards to the episode, and I'll be in the chat with you.